Okay, so we all agreed that, okay, we are going to do the recording. So that's the reason I have started the recording. So Shamshir, over to you to summarize the previous chapters.
Sure. Let me share my screen. Yeah. So, hello everyone. My name is Shamshir Ansari. I'm a technical product manager at Platform 9. And I think we are in third or fourth session of Escaping the Build Trap book. We decided to summarize few chapters that we have completed in the couple of sessions, so that everybody who is attending will get the understanding of what's going on and what has been completed. Right. So I think till now we have completed 8 chapters in couple of sessions, and I'm going to summarize very in short what are those chapters and what we covered. Right. So let's start with the chapter 1. So the chapter 1 was the build trap, and I think Abdul covered in this chapter what we have learned as a build trap. So basically, build trap occurs when a company don't prioritize customers, and they don't have a clear strategy for building the products, right? And they always focus on the output over outcomes, right? So they wanted to produce more of the feature in the product instead of identifying whether this feature will be really helpful or not. And what Abdul covered in this session was that whatever product feature we deliver to the customer, 75% of that feature is not really used because it's not a part of a clear strategy that the company try to build really useful features. So in order to avoid the build trap, we really have to focus on what's the customer needs and what they really want. Then only we will be able to build the right products, and we'll be able to avoid the build trap, right? So that's the summary of chapter 1. Chapter 2 basically focuses of the essence of the product, right? So whenever we build the product, it's not just a part of the product that's define the customer experience, right? It's the entire customer experience of the product, starting from their login journey to whatever they are trying to achieve from the product. Like if they are using Uber, then sign up and then booking the ride, and then getting the ride, tracking the where they are going from their source to destination. So it's basically the entire customer experience that is available inside the products. It's not just a part of that, right? And if we want to build the right customer experience, then we will have to have a strong product vision, right? That actually solves the customer problem and whatever are their needs, right? And that's only possible if we continuously learn and experiment with whatever customer needs are, and we get the feedback from the customer and then try to improve that. So it always have to have a strong product vision, and we kind of have to do a couple of experimentation to see what customers like, what they don't like, what they're actually using, and what they dislike in the product, right? Then only we'll be able to build the right product and avoid the build trap. Right. The third chapter basically focuses on what are the causes and symptoms of build trap, right? That means what are the causes that we are building the wrong product or we are building the right product, right? And one of the basic thing that push us to build trap is a lack of clear product strategy, right? So whatever we are building, we will have to have a right product strategy, and we should always focus on customer centric approach, right? So we don't have to just imagine things and build the product. We'll have to first find out what is the need of the customer, and what are their pain points and what are their problem. Then only we will be able to build the right product strategy and build the right product for customers, right? And a couple of other symptoms that push us to building a product in a build trap is no clear purpose, right? And then if you have a larger product and they have multiple modules and divisions of business unit, I would say every division, if they are taking decisions in a siloed environment, that means they are taking decision by themselves, not discussing with other business units and other teams, then definitely it's a sign of build trap. It's a symptom of build trap, right? And to avoid all of these, what we have to do is we have to first identify what are these symptoms, what are these causes that's pushing us to in the build trap direction. And then we will have to build a right product strategy to avoid these symptoms and causes that will cause us to build a wrong product for customers. The fourth chapter, where we discuss what's the product vision, right? So it's basically setting the direction and purpose for the product, right? And when I say setting the direction and purpose, we will have to actually solve the customer problem, right? By trying to identify what actually we are building for the customer, right? So, and it's only possible if we have a clear direction and purpose to build the product, right? And like I said, we always have to align our vision, our direction, our strategy of the product with the customer needs and the market opportunity. The customer needs, like I said, it's always have to focus on what are their pain points, what are their problems, right? Then only we will have a clear direction for the product, and then only we will have a clear strategy and vision for the product that we are solving for customer, right? And then once we launch the product, we will also have to think about how can we reiterate on it, how can we iteratively identify what are the gaps in our product vision or product strategy. And because the market is changing really fast, right? And we'll have to find out the reasons, we'll have to find out what are the changing needs of the customers. And based on that, we will have to reiterate on building the product vision to have a clear direction for the product that we are building for customers, right? So the fifth chapter focuses on what are the needs of the customer, right? And it's the basics of building the right product, right? So whenever we want to build any product, we will have to focus on what are the target customers, right? So for example, if we are building a product for e-commerce, right? So what are the target customers? Mostly people who stay at home, who don't like to go outside for a shopping. That's our target customer, right? But people who regularly go visits mall or shops, they don't really like online apps or shopping apps because they really want to have a good experience in the shop, right? So our target customer in this case is people who are busy, who don't have time to go for a shopping or spend time in the shops to filter out the products now, right? So we have to have a right set of target customers to build the right product for their pain points and their problems that we are solving, right? And then once we identify the target customer, we will have to identify what are their problems, whether they are able to find the right product in the e-commerce website, whether they are able to purchase from start to end, whether their user experience is proper, whether they are finding out the right price points for the product, or the prices are too high. So we have to find out these problems. Then only we will be able to find out what is the need of the customer, and then we'll be able to build the right product for the company and for the customers, right? And once we launch the product, we will have to think about taking their feedback, right? And then putting out some kind of a survey to find out whether we are actually solving their problems. So what happens is, whenever we build a new product, we always assume some hypothesis that this is what customers need, but that will not actually solve a problem. That will not help us build the right product. So it's always good to have customer feedbacks and user research and surveys to send out to customers to find out whether we are solving their problem in the right direction, whether we are actually solving their problems or not, right? So we'll have to focus on customer needs to avoid build trap, right? And all of these is only possible if we have the right product strategy, right? So the product strategy is something that will actually solve the business goals and also solves the customer pain points, and solves something really important which is there in the market and nobody's taking care of that. Nobody's solving the problems of users and customers. So if you go and try to build something, you will find that there are a lot of other products, but it's not necessary that all of those products will solve the customer problems. There are still a lot of gaps in those products. So we will have to find out and what are those gaps, and then build the right product strategy for customer needs in the market, right? And once you identify that, you have to communicate the roadmap. So it's basically, what are you going to build in certain period of time, like in 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year. So you have to define those roadmap and communicate these roadmaps to different stakeholders in the company, so that they understand what are we going to build and what are we going to focus in the next 6 months or 1 year of time. Right? And then all of these are only possible if we will become a great product manager to identify these problems, build the right strategy, build the right roadmap for the customers, and then kind of get a feedback from the customers, right? So the great product manager focuses, this chapter basically focuses on how you can become a great product manager by focusing on the right things for company, and focusing on the right things for customers to build, right? And the great product manager should always have a good vision. They should be able to understand their target customers, and then they should also be able to communicate this effectively across the different stakeholders in the company. Once you build the product and deliver it to the customer, there might be chances that there will be a lot of problems and issues coming up from customers. So you have to prioritize which bug fixes or new improvements or features you want to deliver, because there will be a lot of things, and good product manager always focuses on prioritizing the right thing to deliver to the customer, and which will actually solve the customer problem, right? And like I said, you have to kind of get the feedback from the customers. You have to send out a survey, talk to them, communicate to them, and then understand their pain points. And that's only possible if a great product manager is data driven. They understand different data points, they understand the feedback from the customers, right? So if you are building a product, that's kind of thing that the great product manager do, is they identify all of these gaps, they build the right product strategy, they build the vision for the product, and they really understand the customers, right? And and I think this is one of the interesting thing, because whenever we are building any product, we have to follow certain processes in order to build the right product. And it consists of different processes and frameworks that companies use to build the right product. But the most important thing is continuous learning and, iteratively build and release the feature. So for example, if I want to build any product, I will not wait for 1 year to release it. What I will do is I'll actually try to find out what is the core problem that I'm solving, and then build MVP, and then release it in the market, and then incrementally update it and get a feedback from customers, and then accumulate those changes, make it perfect later on, not waiting for an entire year or two to deliver the right product, right? And it's kind of, you can think of it as a build, measure, and learn loop, because all you have to do is you have to deliver a product, learn from your customers, then try to find out how you can solve those issues again, and then iterate recursively or iteratively to solve the product problems or customer pain points. So this is basically the entire thing that we have discussed in last couple of chapters, starting from chapter 1 to chapter 8. So that's it.
Great. Thank you very much, Shamshir, for covering the overall summary of all the chapters.
Yeah.
Because this was demanded last time, and this is always a good practice that, okay, we are going to do the recap.
Yep.
Okay.
Sure.
Great. So the chapters which are allocated to me, so they are the chapter 11 and 12. Hopefully you are able to see my screen. Not
Yep.
yet.
Yep.
You're able to see?
Yes.
Great.
Abdul.
Great. So these are the chapters which are allocated to me. Okay. Now, before I start on these chapters, on these 11 and 12 chapters, okay, I'm going to share you something additional. Okay, so here again, I'm starting with the a little bit very high level overview, because if we see this chapter or this book has total 5 sections. Okay, section 1 is speaking about the build trap. Section 2 is speaking about the role of the product manager. Then the third one is speaking about the strategy. Fourth one is speaking about the product management process. And fifth one is speaking about the product-led organization. These are the five things or five sections what the book has. Okay. Now, if we see, today we are going to speak about the chapter 11 and 12, but the strategy section is from chapter number 10 to 14. But I'm going to cover today the chapter 11 and 12. Okay. Here, the author has explicitly told strategy means it is not a plan. It is a framework that helps you to take better decision. Okay. And what I learned when I was reading this book and the other books and the multiple articles from the very senior people is that when we use the word strategy, it is always attached with the word plan, strategic plan. It is always attached another word, that is the strategic planning. And when we speak about the strategic planning, that means in strategic planning, we are setting up certain goals. We are setting up certain goals that I am going to cover shortly or in some other time. Okay, just let me remove this hide floating control. Yep, because the floating control was coming in of Zoom, so I just removed that one. So if we see the chapter 11 now, chapter 11 is speaking about these certain knowledge gap or strategic gap, we will say. And these strategic gaps are divided into three parts. Okay, if you see the outcome is always decided at the strategic level, and the strategy is generally for 3 to 5 years defined in any organization. Okay, then it is the plan. So the plan is created to achieve I'm really sorry. Let me repeat. I used the wrong words. Let me repeat. The vision is decided. Okay, or the vision is planned for 3 to 5 years. Okay, according to the vision, the strategy is devised. Okay, the strategy is made, and that strategy is generally for a year or so. That strategy is the for a year or so, and according to that strategy, we come up with our problem roadmap. Okay, I have a different opinion about the roadmap, because when we speak about the roadmap, that is the feature roadmap. And being a product person, I'm not in favor of this the feature roadmap, but I'm in favor of the problems. Okay, problem roadmap. Okay, so if we see, vision is there at the top level, then the strategy is there. Then to achieve that strategy, we have each and every BU or each and every department, they will come up with their own planning part, and that is divided at the team level. Okay, so again, I will repeat: vision, strategy. After strategy, it is the department level planning. After the department and or under the department, there might be multiple product teams related to that department, and those departments will have their own OKRs. They have their own OKRs. So in this chapter 11, the author is trying to explain about the gaps. Okay, and when we see the outcome to the plan, the outcome is or this gap, if we see the difference between the outcome and the plan, is what organization want to know and what we actually know. Okay, when it is being written over here we, that means it is the leader. Okay, and when the organization means, so it is the senior leadership. The senior leadership is devising or coming up with the outcomes they want at the organization level. But the author is telling the mid-level management, they don't plan their work as per the outcome. So this is what the gap. And here the gap is between the senior leadership and the mid-level leadership. Okay, so this is the first gap. The second gap is between the plan and the action.
Mm.
Plan and the action. What does it mean is, on day-to-day basis, the Scrum meetings or the Scrum backlog or the product backlog, what we have, that is not aligned to the plan. That is not aligned to the plan. Okay, that means whatever we are doing on day-to-day basis, that is not aligned to plan. And if we see the difference, or if we see the we can say that, okay, why this difference is there, the author is telling the missing gap is the why part. The missing gap is the why part, because the difference between, or the gap between the outcome and the plan, if the leader come to know, if the leaders come to know, it is the product leader or the HR leader, okay, if they come to know what outcome we want to achieve, okay, and why we want to achieve that outcome, then the plan will be according to that why part. And again, if the team comes to know, if the team comes to know why they want to achieve that plan, then their product backlog will be accordingly. Then their product backlog will be accordingly. And the author and the book, or the people or the authors from the product community and the product people, they are always telling that the engineer should be given a problem to be solved rather than stories to be implemented.
Mm.
Problem to be solved rather than stories to be implemented. It has a certain background. Okay, because in IT, if we see the maximum things, whatever we follow, therefore we follow from the manufacturing industry. We follow from the manufacturing industry. And in manufacturing industry, the why part is not communicated to the engineers. And again, if we see why, because the engineers in manufacturing, they are being judged from the outputs. They are being judged from the outputs. What does it mean is how much they have produced. But the IT engineers, they are very much different. The IT engineers are, they are very much different. The about the IT engineer, it is being told that, okay, these are those people who has the brains. Okay, and for the brainy guys, we should be giving the outcome to be achieved or the problem statement to be solved. If that is given, then those teams are called as the empowered teams. And when the engineer is given a problem to be solved, rather than user stories in terms of the product backlog to be implemented, I'm repeating, rather than giving an engineer the product backlog, which has the solutions to be implemented, he should be given a problem to be solved. Then he will come up literally with the different solutions. So this is the gap, the actions and the plan. Okay. Then the next gap is about the measurement. I have taken certain actions. Now I have to see whether my outcome is being achieved or not. I generally give the example of a building. Okay. Suppose I have booked a flat in the building. Okay. Whenever I visit that builder, I will see that whether the building is progressively going ahead or not. It might be certain foundations, okay, because foundations are very much important, because on day one or in just 3 months, I cannot see the first floor. Before that one, huge amount of time, energy, money has to be spent on the foundation part. So there has to be certain improvement has to be there. That's the reason whenever in our sprint, whenever we do the deployments, we should see whether we are moving to the closer to our goal or not with every sprint, or at least with the couple of sprint. If those things are not being observed, then we need to change our sprint backlog or the product backlog. Okay, that's the reason I have created another kind of content where I try to create the product backlog as per the strategic planning. Product backlog as per the strategic planning, as per the outcome which where we want to move or where the organization wants to move. there is another lecture or another video that is in progress. Okay, so this gap between the action and the outcome, it is the same. We should have sufficient evidences. We should be measuring the team from the outcome we are trying to achieve, the goal through towards which we are trying to move in each and every sprint or after a couple of sprints. So these are the three gaps the author is speaking. Okay, now moving further.
And before we move on the next, Abdul, just to add, yeah, in this, so author has emphasized these gaps are called as a three different gaps. Like first, from outcome to plan, she is referring that as a knowledge gap.
Yep, knowledge gap.
Yeah,
Yes,
there is a knowledge gap when what is
great.
expected versus the plan is built. It's not conveyed exactly what is expected. So knowledge is not transferred the way it was supposed to be.
Yes,
And from plan to action, that is like what is the plan and what the actions are carried out. That gap she has mentioned as an alignment gap.
alignment. True.
So it is not a line of what is supposed to be done and what action is laid out. And the third gap, how from action to what is expected as an outcome, that third gap she has referred as a effects gap. The effects gap. It's not as per what the effects were expected out of this whole actions.
Yes, very much true. Very much true.
Yeah, very nice. Nicely presented. Thank you.
Very much true. Great. And if we see, she is explaining about the autonomous team as well. Okay. And generally, if we say the autonomy, so-called the Scrum or Agile framework, okay, so the core principle and the values, they are giving, okay, so-called I'm talking about, okay, it is building the autonomous team. But if we see in reality, they are being handed over the solutions. And when the team is handed over the solutions, that is not the autonomous team. The autonomous team is who is coming up with their own product backlog. And I would like to know in the industry where the engineer himself is coming up with his own product backlog. I have very rarely seen that one. And as per the other authors like Marty Kagan is there, Jeff Gothelf is there, Jeff Patton is there, if we take the Tira Sartoris is there. Okay, these authors, if we see, they tells hand over the problem to this to the teams, so that they become the autonomous in terms of carving out the backlog they want to create, they want to have. But the unfortunate thing is the engineers, clever engineers, are being handed over the solutions. And when the solution is already defined, how the outcome will be changed. Because when we have handed over the solution to the engineers, that means the outcome has already been defined. And the engineers don't know what outcome they are trying to achieve. So that's the reason it is being told that, okay, the definition of the autonomous team is letting the engineers to create the solutions. Okay, sorry, Preeti. Sorry, Dipti. I went ahead and again I have
No,
pushed on.
that's all aligned. That's all aligned. Yeah.
Yep, yep,
Yeah. And that's the sad reality, right?
yep.
What we
That's the
see
sad
here.
reality.
Yeah.
And since you are the SPC, so I would like to connect with you as well, and I will try to understand this part.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we can have a separate
Yes,
discussion.
separate discussion for that one. Okay.
Sure. Thanks. Over to
Yes.
you. Yeah, you can continue.
Yep. Great. So now, again, continuing this strategic, the vision and the strategic part, the those three blocks are again a little bit elaborated in this product kata. If we see this diagram is coming up, or similar diagram is coming up from the Toyota, okay, Toyota production system, that is called as the continuous improvement kata. That is called as the continuous improvement kata. You can search on Google. This is very well known concepts. Okay, and I have taken this image from there. Okay, I searched on the Google the escaping bill trap images, and I took it from there. Okay, you can search as well, and you will be able to get that one very easily. Now, if we see what the author is telling, whenever we want to start, understand the true north direction. Understand the true north direction. Okay, what is the company vision and the strategy? Okay, then analyze the current situation. Then analyze the current situation for all of our products. Okay, where our product stands. Then what is the difference between the block number 1 and 2? So identify the immediate next step. Identify the immediate next step. What actions to be taken? Once that action is defined, once that gap is defined, take that action to achieve the next stage. To achieve the next stage. Then again go back and see whether we have improved towards the intended direction or not. That means the outcome or not. Okay, so the fourth step is talking about taking the action, execution. Okay, so in this way we can do the continuous improvement part. In this way we can do the continuous improvement part, so that we improve on day by day basis. So that we improve on day by day basis. And the any question on this one before I proceed further?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, because I want to cover a case study which has been given by this author, and that has been covered in the previous chapters as well. And this is the case study. Okay, this is the case study to show, to explore in detail this diagram, how our actions should be aligned to the strategy. Okay, should be aligned to the strategy. What does it mean is the fourth step and the first step, so they are always interconnected. Okay, so for that one, the author has given the case study about the Blockbuster and the Netflix. Okay, so if you see in 1995, Blockbuster is founded by David. Okay, it is basically a moving rental company, and the most important point is the second point, advice from wife. This we were discussing at the beginning, right, where the recording has not been done, and I was telling that okay, we need to take always the advice from our spouses, right, Shamshir? So this is being told over there as well.
That's correct.
Yes, so this is being told in that case study as well, that okay, David Cook got the advice from his wife. Okay, and he founded the company in 1985. And within 2 years, 1997, it grew to 20 stores and 20 franchises. In 1990, this company has franchises in Europe and Latin America. Okay, and by 1997, it captured 25% of the world market. 25% of the world market. Imagine such a huge company. Okay, and it has 9,000 stores and 50 million members. But it got failed somehow to retain itself as the world leader. Netflix came in 1998. Okay, and it started growing, and in 2004 Blockbuster tried to do certain similar work which Netflix did, but it has already failed in the market. Okay, so if you see the second part over here, so 1997 the next Netflix launch, and very strange, if you see, if you read the bullet point, the founder of the Netflix, okay, the founder of the Netflix got charged for the $40 late fees. Okay, earlier at that point of time the Netflix was not there. Okay, but when that person, he was charged for $40 for one of his movie Apollo 13, which he was watching. Okay, he charged $40. He got annoyed. He got annoyed. And okay, $40 is a huge, and that is just the late fees. That's the reason he told that okay, this model has to be changed. And that small pinch of $40 gave the birth for the Netflix. That pinch of $40 for one person to a person, okay, that gave the birth for the Netflix. And Netflix started similar business, okay, for renting the movies and the DVDs. The Blockbuster at that point of time, that was the physical. That means I have to go and purchase the DVDs, CDs, and all those things. But what Netflix did, he started posting it online, sending the customer over the mail. Okay, so that is the slightly different model. And the late fees was $40 or $20 flat. It was not per day.
Yeah, $20. As per the book, I
$20.
think it is $20. Yeah.
Yes, so I have written it 40, so that is the wrong over there. So that's the reason I when I was
I was
speaking,
wondering this number
I
is
recalled.
some different research or what?
Yeah, no, I recall that. So that's the reason I told it is $20.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
because I think when I was writing it was a typo. So that's the reason I thought, okay, I should be corrected. And thank you very much, Dipti, for correcting me that okay, it is $20,
yeah.
not the
That's
40.
fine. That's fine.
Yep, yep. And by 2000, Netflix has the 50 million users, 50 million revenue.
Hmm.
At that point of time, Netflix went to Blockbuster to sell itself. Okay, and at that point of time, Netflix has a huge cash. Okay, because it has raised 465 million through the IPOs, but got rejected by Blockbusters due to a number of reasons. Okay, and here the important thing I want to show is in this image. Okay, again, the very much important thing that is coming as the first uh, point over here, that is advice from the company, David Cook, okay, who founded the Blockbuster. Then if we see in 2007, Netflix was about to launch the project called as the Griffin project. That is the internet connected devices, because Netflix was streaming the videos on the internet, so it needs to improve the overall satisfaction, one device in between, okay, between the television and the his streaming part. Okay, so they started working on that one, but just before a couple of months ago, the founder of Netflix announced that they are going to scrap the project. Here I want to show the importance between our day-to-day work and the strategy, because he felt that okay, they are the entertainment company who are providing the videos and everything entertainment, games and all those things online, and when they are working on this such kind of hardware project that is misaligning to the strategy, so in spite of done huge investment, he stops that one. He stops that investment and he wrote an email, stop immediately. Here again, I'm telling that okay, see how the day-to-day work should align to the strategy. And that decision, that some of the loss what the Netflix bear, that was very much profitable for over a long time future. And by 22 or after a couple of or after 6 months, Netflix did the tie-up with Microsoft Xbox, and they use that as the streaming devices, and they became very much successful. So this shows a couple of things that okay, we should align to the change, we should align to the change, we should look at the technology, how it is changing, then how we should align for the customer satisfaction and what they need. And another thing is we need to revive our day-to-day work, with the strategy on continuous basis, just not on the yearly basis. And this is where the OKR comes into picture, objectives and key results. That is very much important, because what I feel, OKR are going to replace, OKR are going to tailor the agile framework. That will have sometime that discussion on the other day, okay, sometime later, but not today. Okay, this is what I want to cover today. Any question? Hopefully I have covered, completed within my time.
This is
Yes.
wonderful. I think this is excellent insights on different strategy, outcomes, and action, right? So I really like the idea. I posted a couple of questions in the
Yep.
chat. My first question is, so you talked about defining the roadmaps and aligning them with the different business units, right? So I was just thinking, who is responsible for defining the overall roadmap for a different business unit? Is it a product manager or maybe a director of product management or VP of product management? Who is actually responsible for defining the roadmap across the business units and across the product?
Great. Diti, would you like to take this question before I jump on this one?
Yes, I
Or
think it is as per the author in the book. If you mention, if you see what Rahul covered last time. So overall, as a product, the CPO, Chief Product Officer, is the role who is whose kitty or whose KRA is primarily on the strategic area. So almost 75% of those strategic decisions about the product that comes from CPO.
Okay, got it.
So strategy of the product will come from CPO, definitely.
Got it.
And
Got it.
this is, I'm answering from page number 42.
Awesome.
And along with CPO's vision on a strategic side, VP of the product is something who will be working on operational, on what the three triangle, what Abdul just mentioned, outcome, action, what was that? Plan, outcome, action, plan, correct. Yeah. So these three areas, automatically VP product will contribute on two of that, except how. And how is something where associate PM is the role on the ground, working with the team, is where that person is working on the tactical and operational. Very little on the strategic side. So I think it answers how the roles are aligned to specific areas of contribution of the product.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yep. I will add some additional point over here, Shamsher.
Sure, Abdul.
Okay.
Sure.
See, in every organization, the hierarchy is different.
Yeah, true.
Okay, in every organization, the hierarchy is different. So what I believe, there might be a roadmap. If you see what is roadmap, so it is a set of features. This set of features, what we want to achieve or what we want to deliver, I will say. Roadmap is about the delivery part over a period of 1 year. Okay. Now, what I believe, and if you look the current trend, which is changing, that is speaking about go beyond. Ask why those or why that roadmap is there. I will come to your question, don't worry. Okay, because a certain background is needed, pre-background is needed before I try to answer your question.
Sure.
So once you have the roadmap, try to understand why part of that one. Okay, and that we generally call as the idea backlog. Over there, okay, we put each and everything, and that is coming from multiple stakeholders. I'm talking about the multiple stakeholder, and the product manager or the product management team. I will say that we will say that, okay, product management team is responsible for that one. I'm telling product management team. What designation is there, like product manager, senior product manager, director of product manager, VP of product manager? So that is different part. That is the label.
Hmm.
But the product management team for that product, okay, it, when I say the product management team, it includes the stakeholders, okay, it includes the product personnel, it includes the engineering team. And earlier we have the concept of that, okay, there is a scrum team, agile team is the right, but in
Right.
the product team we are calling them as the product team. In the product world, that is the product team. What does it mean is it is a combination, it is a combination or the cross collaboration or amalgamation of each and every department related to that product, and they will come up with the problem statement, and then they will say that, okay, to achieve this problem statement we will create actions for just 1 quarter, okay, because in the recent world the concept of roadmap is getting killed slowly. Why? Again, because it is a set of solution, and when we say it is a set of solution, we should not be providing a set of solution to the engineers. They should be providing the, we should be providing the problem. So the discussion happens and we identify what are the hurdles to achieve my vision. Okay, now I'm connecting the today's content to that one. Okay, we have the vision. To achieve that vision, what outcomes should be there, and to achieve those outcomes, what are the hurdles? What are the hurdles are there? We come up. Okay, now to achieve, to overcome those hurdles, what action should be there? That has to go to your product backlog. And this is what the Terra Satora is speaking about with the help of opportunity solution tree. Okay, so answering to your question, who is coming up with the roadmap? Generally, I will not encourage the concept of roadmap. I will encourage the concept of problem roadmap or having the objectives for the year.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting, because I also was not really convinced with the roadmap thing, because the landscape is changing very quickly, and
Yep.
roadmap never aligned with what we are building. So I like what you said. Instead of giving them solutions to build, we should give engineers a problem statement, and then they will come up with the right solution to solve the product problem. So that's really interesting, and I learned something new today.
Yep. Definitely, because on each and everything I can go on and on. Okay, for each and every sentence, you can hold me accountable for that one. I can share my knowledge for the day, complete day.
This is good.
Okay.
This is good. Very like awesome.
Yep.
Thank you.
Any further question, counter views? Happy to take that one. Nothing, Shamshir?
No. So out of this topic, I just have another question. So I
Yep.
was actually writing a PRD for our product, the task that I've got to solve, the problem that I actually got to solve. And I was actually wrote a complete PRD, but that PRD also includes writing epics, user stories, and acceptance criteria. So is it something we are really trying to solve early in the stage of what we are trying to solve, or it's something so like you said, right, it depends on different kind of organization, whether it's a bigger organization or a small organization. In smart startup world, I think product managers do all those things, right?
True.
Defining strategy, vision, and also defining user story epics, and right. But is it very early in that stage to define user stories and acceptance criteria?
Good point. See, if we see the user story, so that is a solution.
Right.
Okay. And when you are working on the user story, what I say that, okay, involve the engineering team,
Mm.
involve the engineering team, and tell him that, okay, this is the problem which we want to solve, because there is a very nice sentence which is written in chapter 10 or so. Okay, let me give the exact reference of that one. Okay, chapter 10 or chapter 9, so that you can take that one. I have marked it over here. And I want to read that sentence. I like that sentence. Okay,
Sure,
just
sure.
give me a minute.
Yep.
Okay, just give me a minute. And that statement from Mellissa Perri, she is speaking about how we should write those things, whatever you just now told. Okay,
Right. Right.
okay, just a minute. I marked it over here when I was reading. Okay, because that gives the full concept. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I should be able to locate in very quickly. If I'm not able to locate, I will ping you the page number over there.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, because I think today morning only
Mm-hmm.
I've written it somewhere.
So the reason I asked this question is
I,
because when I was in VMware, I got
yeah,
one task to create RPM for our product. Right. It's kind of like a binary that we install on the system. Right. And that time the product manager was not involved in that aspects, and I actually defined the epic user stories and the technical details for the entire the process of building the RPM. Right. That time I was the engineer. Didn't interact with product manager, but now my role is swiped.
yep.
I'm playing a role of product manager, but now the engineers are not involved. Right.
Mhm.
If I define some user stories, and epics are fine because that's a very high level thing
True.
that we want to do. But if I define a user stories, and if engineering think about that this is not necessary, or this is something does not relate to actual implementation, then it will be a waste of time for everyone. So I like the idea that defining user stories should involve engineers. Then I think we will have a right user stories and acceptance criteria for the product.
Yep, yep. So I am able to locate that one. What I want to tell you, what I
Awesome.
want to share you, it is the page number 66, and the paragraph starts with consider a product manager telling you the following.
Mm-hmm.
Is because you are the product manager.
Right.
Okay, so I think that is going to fit a lot.
Yep.
And it is telling I am building this. See, I am building whenever it comes, it is the solution.
Right.
Okay, because because why part is very much important. So that's the reason it is start the solution with the why part, because it is going to help to increase the acquisition.
Right.
Benefit.
Okay, yes, it is, yes, rightly, Dipti, it is speaking about the benefits. Okay, and the new customer acquisition to our bigger goal, okay, to drive the revenue, prioritize at the corporate level.
Mm.
Here if you see, the author is touching three things.
Right.
Okay, the author is touching three things. One thing, it is touching the solution, what the customer, and then it is selling the benefits.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then it is connecting to the organization as well, because customer
Yep.
customer has to be there at the center, whatever we are trying to do.
Right.
He has to get benefits. Okay, and the benefit has to pass to the customer, and that will in turn give the the impact to the organization.
Yep.
The stories, there are certain given when and then format is there. Now I feel that is changing. That has to be changed to the outcome part. I'm building this because our strategy, we want to achieve this outcome,
Right.
or our strategy is this,
Mm.
and we will have this revenue part.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it has to be there something in that way.
Awesome. Yeah. That sounds good. That sounds good.
Yep, hope
So it will have.
this answer your, yeah,
Yeah,
please go
that's
ahead.
correct. Yeah, that's correct. So it will have all the three parts that you talked about, like customer, uh, the product problem,
Ac-
and then what will
Actor, yeah, actor, action, and benefit.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. Awesome. Great.
Hope this answered your question.
Yeah.
But if any counter question is there, if you feel like, okay, Abdul, whatever you have shared, that is something has to be revised, then I'm happy to correct that one as well. Okay.
I think you clarified my doubt really clearly. Thank you so much.
Yep, yep. Great. Great. So shall we meet next weekend? Yeah, please go ahead,
Yeah.
Dipti.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. Nice. Thanks. Thanks. Nice connect.
Nice. Great.
Quickly, can we see like what is the next week plan? It
Yes,
is
sure.
we have covered what today 11th chapter, right?
Yes.
Right.
11 and 12
11
chapter.
and 12. Yeah, 11
11
and
and 12.
12.
Let me stop my recording.
Sure.
Sure.